What's up? What's up? It's John here from JJSC Tech, and today is a special day. I don't even know. I don't even know how I feel. I was kind of upset when I first heard this news because I don't really know what Nikon is doing with Red, so it's like it's kind of devaluing as a company. But on the other hand, for those who are trying to get into the Red system, this is great news. This is wonderful news. For me personally, I've been shooting with Red since 2020. Yeah, 2020. Yeah, so I've shot with the OG, the Komodo X, and the V Raptor. And I've been using all three ever since. I like the system. I like the colors. I like everything about it. Somewhat, kinda. Except the price. I thought they were kind of expensive still. I mean, they were much cheaper than DSMC2 versions, which was like 50,000 and 30,000, those crazy prices. So when they came out with the original Komodo for 6,000, I was saying to myself, like, man, this is great. This is wonderful. I should get in on this. And so I did, and Nikon took over. They dropped the price of the Komodo and the Komodo X. The Komodo was 5,000. And now today they dropped the price another 2,000. So you can get a brand new Komodo for $3,000. So it's the same price as the Pixis. I think Pixis might be in trouble. I mean, I cannot really recommend a Pixis over the Komodo now, since I am very familiar with the Komodo. The Pixis is still a pretty good camera, but that global shutter is really, really good. And the rolling shutter that the Pixis has is pretty bad, especially when you pan very quickly back and forth. You see a lot of jelloing. So what I want to do now is I want to try to build out the Red Komodo to see how much it truly costs. Now, for someone like me that's already in the Komodo system that has like 3 Red cameras, I can just buy the body and I can use different parts from other cameras and I can just build that out how I want to build it out. But for someone that's now coming in, let's see how much it costs. Let's see how much it costs. So let me switch this real quick. Kaboom. All right. So we have B&H. And let's do a red Komodo. Oh, the Sony also came out with a extension of the Venice. I don't know if it's an actual camera, but yeah, Sony also came out. Canon also came out with two cameras as well. So the Canon PowerShot as well as another R50. Interesting times, you know? And these guys ain't slick. These guys released these, like Red dropped their price and Canon come out with these two new cameras as well as the Venice around tax time. So when people are getting back their tax returns, that's when they're bringing out new cameras and whatnot. All right, so let's click this. As you see, this is the bare bones Komodo. Now, you still need a whole bunch of stuff to go with this. So if we add that to cart, that's 3,000. So your starting price is 3,000. Now, if you go to accessories on B&H, let's go bit by bit. So you definitely will need recording media. Now for churches, I'm very excited for churches now because with churches, I can happily recommend the Red Komodo to churches. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna build this out for a church, for live streaming and etc. And I'm gonna put like other things in there like recording media because if you want to record things like documentaries and etc., this is going to be your all-around camera. So let's do 512. So this uses CF Express, well, CFast 2.0. So it's a bit slower than CF Express Type B. Not a bit slower, a lot slower than CF Express Type B. But it's still fast enough to shoot red cold raw. Batteries. Now, me personally, I do have BP batteries because I like redundancy. So with my rig, I have two BP batteries and I put a V-mount connector onto like 15 millimeter rods and I connect that to the power. So the V-mount powers up everything and the batteries charge. And if the V-mount dies, it goes to these BP batteries. You don't have to do that route. You don't have to go there at all because that route is a bit more expensive. So let's just do a regular V-mount connection adapter and then regular V-mount batteries. So let's do core. Whoa, oh, you save 297, 298. What? You save 279. That's cool, but I want the V-mount version. So let's click this. V-mount, two batteries, add that. V-mount batteries are expensive. Oh, and this comes with the V-mount connector that you need to connect onto the Red Komodo. All right, so that solves the power. All right, so lenses. So for lenses, it's your choice. You can either go with Canon RF glass or you can go with the cine lenses. For the cine lenses, you can't really go wrong with a DZO film because the DZO film, it comes with a PL mount and an EF mount. And the good thing about the Red Komodo, it still comes with the adapter, the RF to EF adapter. So you don't have to get an additional adapter, only if you want to do like PL. So something like this picture, nah, I don't want no picture. The DZO Cata zooms are pretty good. DZO. people are texting me. I should answer that. Someone is texting me about the difference between the Komodo and the Komodo X. There is a difference between the Komodo and Komodo X. 100%. 35 to 80, especially if you're doing this like for run and gun purposes. Now, if this is the main camera, well, first of all, if you're a church and you don't have any cameras whatsoever, you got to go with a minimum of like 3 cameras. So you're gonna have 2 floating cameras and 1 main camera, probably on a Dana Dolly or just stationary for like the main shot, like a waist up medium shot. I'm building out something more so for floating cameras. So let's go. Cat Ace. This is good. Now, both of them cost the same. If you go to 70 to 135 or 35 to 80, if you're starting out, I would do the 35 to 180 because that's a much wider shot. And you can always move in closer to the talent in order to get like a really good close-up shot. So this is good. And like I said, this is EF and PL. And I have the set. I have 2 of these lenses, and I can say these lenses look really good on the Komodo and the Komodo X. I haven't tried it on the V Raptors yet, but on the Komodo and Komodo X, these look really good. They're a bit warmer than usual. So if you are shooting in like a church that has like darker skin tones, these lenses will work really well. Really well. So let's add that. All right, boom. Go back. Let's go back here. All right, we got the lens. Hand grips. These are too expensive. These are way too expensive. You will need a cage. Now the cage there's a lot of cheaper cages that you can go with. Bright Tangerine is a little OD, especially if you're buying like 3 of them. That Bright Tangerine is way too much. 2 of these side ribs for 195. This is criminal. This should not be this expensive just for 2 side ribs. Now, if you go to Tilta, you can get an entire cage for 149. An entire cage, and it comes with the riser. Let's click this. Just because this camera is like 4 years old, there aren't a lot of things selling for the Komodo anymore. So it's pretty scarce. I mean, you can always buy things like this used, and you'll save a bit more. But let's go with this. As you see, this kit also comes with a V-mount as well. I wouldn't really use this V-mount because it's not red approved. So you will get that notification screaming at you every time you turn it on that this accessory is not red approved. So use it at your own risk. That's why I went for the Core V-mount, because that one is red approved and you won't get any of those notifications. So let's add this. All right, so we are basically there. Is that everything? Media card readers, Angelbird. I go with Angelbird because it works. Now, I wouldn't go with the red version of this because the red is actually an Angelbird. It's just marked up because it has the red logo and it's all black. So these 2 are the same. So let's go with Angelbird. Lens adapters, you're good. Microphones, no. Battery plates, chargers. Screen protectors, monitors, because with the Red Komodo, the monitor that's on the Red Komodo is it's just for monitoring. It's not really for um, well, when I say monitoring, I'm more like monitoring the settings. You're not really going to use that small display to rack focus or get the right composition or see if things are properly in focus. It's just too small, and there's going to be a lot of things on that screen as well. So you will need an external monitor. So let's go to on-camera monitors. Me personally, me personally, I like small HD. I've never had an issue with small HD. Small HD has really good colors. They're really durable. They're really rugged, but they're really expensive. Now, when I purchased the small HD in COVID times, this is before they had the price hike. They weren't over $1,000 at all. They were like $600 to $800. So these prices that you're seeing right here is inflation, crazy inflation. So let's go with something else. Let's go with something else. Port keys has been like pretty good. I've heard a lot of good reviews about port keys. Don't worry about this. 3-star right here by 2 people. Don't worry about that. But I would do port keys or maybe Hollyland. I don't know. I can't vouch for Hollyland, but I've heard a lot about port keys. So let's just add that just in case. And SDI cables. Now, SDI cables is a big deal because the Red uses a 12G SDI cable, and 12G sends power. So the issue with 12G is not only the Red, it's all cameras with the SDI port. You run the risk of burning it out if you are like if you don't follow a specific sequence. So for instance, like if you're turning on the camera, you plug in the SDI cable last. So if you have a monitor, you turn the monitor on, you plug the SDI into the monitor, you make sure the monitor is powered and everything like that. And then you turn on the camera, and then after the camera is on and the monitor is on, then you plug in the SDI cable. And when you're turning things off, you do the reverse. You plug out the SDI cable out of the camera first, and then you power things down and switch batteries and etc. That is the safest way to not ruin your SDI cable or ruin your motherboard. Because to replace this, I don't think the prices to replace any of the components in Red has gone down. So you will be spending a pretty penny. Now, this not only goes for Red, as I said, it goes with any camera. So that's even the Blackmagic Pixel. So you have to follow that order. There are a few things, like a few gadgets that protect your SDI port. So there's something by Mutiny. IO expansion modules. Is that it? Yeah. This right here, 12G isolator. So what this does is it isolates your 12G. You can turn it on and off. And this can definitely prevent you from burning out your SDI port on your camera. So this, as you see, is still pretty expensive. The other option is actually getting a protected SDI cable from Arri. This is probably one of the cheapest things that you can find from Arri. 12G SDI cable. Where is it? All right, let me do this. Let me do brand. Let me do just Arri. And of course, they're showing me everything instead. You got to be kidding me. Bro, where is the cable? One moment, because this cable is very important. Okay, ARRI SDI isolator. Yeah, this right here, the ARRI SDI isolator cable. So, as you see, this is out of stock. This is a very good cable. And what it does is it prevents you from damaging your SDI cable or SDI signal. So it says right here, uses SDI isolator from ARRI to avoid damage to the SDI output on the camera when using the 12G monitor. Onboard monitors can damage the SDI output on the cameras when broken SDI cables are being used. This cable features a BNC connector on each, and so this is good. So there is a possibility that it can reduce the quality, but this will protect your SDI port. So this is another good option. It's cheaper as well. So you can use this instead of the Mutiny 12G isolator. Yeah. So I think that's it. Let me see. $8,000. Now, this is only that much because of this lens. So if you were if you were to like remove the lens, say for later, I'm not logging in. So let's just remove the lens. And see, it's like $4,000 for everything else. So if you pay tax, 5,200. So this is good, and you get the monitor, you get the cage. Uh, this is if you have your lens already. But if you don't have a lens, like an RF lens or an EF lens, because remember this comes with the RF to EF adapter, you can always get a proper lens, which is going to be like $3,000, and then you will be paying around $8,000. This is way better, way better. And if you buy like 3 of these, you're spending anywhere from, let's say, 24 to 30 grand. That's how much you're going to be spending. Now, this is way better than before, when the Komodo was like $6,000 or even $5,000, because you probably would have been spending anywhere from maybe 10,000 or and up, $10,000 to $11,000, and then you triple that, and yeah, it's gonna get. It still would have been pretty expensive, but now it's way more affordable, and for the quality that you're getting, 16-bit raw, it's a really, really, really good deal. Now, like I was saying, some of the key things about the Komodo is 16 stops of dynamic range, more like 13 plus stops. Super 35 global shutter. Now, this global shutter, especially if you're doing things like sports, houses of worship, and you're doing a lot of whip pans and etc. Even if you're doing some creative things, if you have this on a drone as a true intended crash cam, because that's what it was made to be originally, you won't see a lot of jelloing. And as well as when you're like taking pictures and flashing the camera and you freeze the frame, you won't see split frames. Like part of it would be not lit up and the other part you'll see a flash. That's because of global shutter. I mean, you won't see that because of global shutter. So yeah, great things, great things. So this is probably the cheapest global shutter camera that you can get. So yeah, this was going to be a short stream, a very short stream. Excuse me. Now, my beefs will like, I can't even talk properly. Now, my beefs with Nikon is a personal thing. I don't have anything against Nikon. I personally don't know what they're doing. This is two price drops in the span of what, like 6-7 months or something? Because the previous price drop was really, really like a few months ago. So if they're coming out with a new camera, I don't know. I don't know because when they did the previous price drop, they weren't coming out with a new camera. They just did the price drop. So with this, I guess they're trying to sell more units. That's my guess. I really don't know the purpose of doing this. It's really devaluing the Komodo. So for those people who have a Komodo and they're trying to sell it, like for some people that are trying to sell the Komodo, let's see, something like eBay. Let's see how much Komodos are going for on eBay. Red Komodo, 6K. All right, let me see. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. You see these prices? These are used Komodos. Used Komodos. 4,200 our best offer. Let me do buy now. What's the buy now price? Because a lot of these are options. Yep, 4,200. You can now get one for 2,400, 3,000, 3,500. I saw a guy that had it for like 6,000. So these prices are dropped. So you get kits for 4,000 and etc. So the used market, you can possibly, yeah, this poor guy selling his Komodo for $10,000. That's crazy. That's crazy. So the used market, you can really pick up a really, really good used Komodo. And this guy's selling for 6,500. They're gonna have to drop. They're gonna have to drop their prices. So you can pick up a Komodo body probably for $1,000. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's good. The only thing to be careful of with Komodos, like I said before, if anything is wrong with it, you're still paying a high premium in order to fix it. So it's kind of like buying a used BMW, used Mercedes. If anything is wrong with it, you probably got a good deal buying it. But if anything is wrong with it, you're taking it to the mechanic. He's not going to give you a discount because you bought it for a low price. He's still going to look at it like it's still a Mercedes, it's still a BMW. You're going to pay those premium prices. So that's one thing to be aware of. Be aware of. If you can get it with warranty, that's the way to go. Because I guarantee you do not want to be coming out of pocket paying for these things, especially if there's like a damaged port, a damaged motherboard. Yeah, it can be pretty expensive. So yeah, all in all, this is good. This is really good. I had the Pixus in many different quotes for churches and etc. But now I just removed the Pixus, just kicked it right out, and you can have a Komodo. So yeah, let's see what Sony does. Let's really see what Sony does. But the Komodo was never really in competition with a Sony camera. Sony camera is a completely different purpose. Now, Komodo has autofocus, but to be frank with you, I don't use autofocus on a Komodo. If it isn't Sony or Canon, then I'm not really interested. Plus, I don't do one-man bands with these cameras. I usually have a team with these cameras, and that's the purpose of these cameras. They were made to have a team and etc. One person doing pulling focus and things of that nature. It does have autofocus. If you're a one-man band, I wouldn't depend on it too much. It is better. It's not in beta anymore, but I wouldn't depend on it. Not like a Sony or a Canon. I wouldn't depend on it at all. So yeah. Other than that, yeah, this is overall a good thing. Now, just remember that you're still going to be paying probably like $8,000. So take that into consideration. But for the consumers, this is a win. This is a win. I can't get mad at that. This is a big win. So I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. I got some videos as well that I need to drop. I got some ideas that I'm gonna be shooting some more. It's getting hotter. I'm gonna be shooting some more. So just stay tuned to this channel because I have some really good things coming in the future. So yeah, I won't spoil it. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Peace.